my knowledge and my experience will be also beneficial for you. So at the end of the presentation, I will provide my email as well. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to share, please reach me out. So we can go to the next one. So I have already been introduced, but my name is Gulbike. I'm from Turkey. My name, Gül, is also same here. I understand it means rose and also means to smile. So I'm co-founder of Animatrix, and I did my PhD in Netherlands in economics. And I also give lectures and talks about animal rights, environmental issues, animal welfare with Middle East vegan society. I have given talks in many parts in the world, including Africa, Asia, Europe, etc. And I'm also part-time content assessor for software projects. Next one. So our organization, Animatrix, is a recently launched research and capacity building organization. So in a nutshell, we focus on animal agriculture, and our aim is to advance the movement with using economics and econometric research methods. That means that we are using experiments, policy evaluations, impact evaluation, and cause and effect relationships. If you want more information, you can visit our website, animatrix.org. And this is my co-founder, Söder skipped. So I first want to talk about why data matters. So we are all here, we are talking about animals. But why do we need data? Because first, we need to know where to focus. There are so many animals out there. There are 8 billion species of animals, and there are like cows, fish, dogs, elephants, animals in zoos, wildlife. But which one we should focus on, given our limited energy? What is the current landscape of the country, of the region we are working on? Given that we know, what we are focused on, what kind of strategies we should focus on? Should we do corporate outreach? Should we do litigation? Should we do street outreach? What should we do? So, what kind of intervention has the greatest impact? And which regions have more room for improvement? Like, where should I focus on Pakistan? Why should I focus on global south but not global north? So I have a limited funding, I have limited energy. So which places have more policy commitments? Which places are more neglected? So for this, we need data. So I want to talk about why do we focus on animal agriculture, not the other types of animals. And I have 3 reasons. And normally I don't show any visuals, but I think it could be beneficial for some purposes. So the next 2 slides will include some visuals, so FYI, I hope it won't be triggering. But first, animals are sentient beings. So sentient beings means that they are capable of suffering, they are capable of experiencing pain. And factory farming, animal agriculture, is a very intensive agriculture that is designed to maximize profits and minimize cost. That means that we are talking about factories that machinize, that puts one animal as a machine in each unit. So you can see here at factory farming, every small white tick is a small place for a cow. So that means animals are going through significant suffering. A cow, a chicken, a fish still suffering as much as an elephant, as much as a tiger, as much as a cat or a dog. So they're going through very rapid growth. So you can see, for example, we are designed the chicken to grow as much as fast as possible. So normally a chicken can live up to 8 years, but we are killing them after some weeks, right? So they are living in terrible, stressful conditions, and it's happening in halal industry, it happens in many other industries. They are going through genetic manipulation, lack of outdoor access, debeaking, cramped confinement, mutilations. The next one. So you also know the killing of the chicks because of the profitability. If a chick is born as a male, they kill in they're born because it's not profitable for the industry. And it happens in the halal industry as well. So, and this photograph is taken again in halal agriculture by my friend. This is like a mother pregnant cow, which is killed after they cannot produce more milk because it's not profitable anymore. But even they are killed, you can still see the milk coming from the machine because of the profitability issue again. And they're still killed very immaturely because a cow can live maybe 20 years. But we are killing them after some days, weeks. And of course, when the baby cow is born, we're also separating the mothers from the cow, babies, etc. So it's like a horrible, horrendous issues are going on in this industry. And the thing is, we are talking about individuals, not from numbers. But the scale is unimaginable. I think the thing changed my mind was data. Because every second in meat industry, 2,700 animals die. If you compare with animals, humans, every second 1.7 humans die. And when you compare with this number, it's super big. And also, this number also struck me a lot. Every year, 18 billion animals end up in garbage. So end up by being killed for nothing. And if you don't know anything about this issue, please, there are so many documentaries, but please watch one of these documentaries and you will learn more about this factory farming's realities. And if you need more, please reach me out. The next one. So, and the third reason we are focusing on animal agriculture is a neglected issue. So, by neglected means that, next one. So, I want to tell you this number. Animal advocacy budget for farmed animals is around $200 or $300 million globally, which is 14 times less than budget of UNICEF, only one organization. And this visual is, I think, really important because on the left you can see number of animals killed in farm, lab, and shelters. You can see almost all of them are farmed animals. While money donated to animal charities is the hardest for shelters. So when we talk about animals, mostly we talk about dogs and cats, or maybe animals we find cuter, like dolphins, like elephants, like other animals. They're amazing and very, very important, but equally important are other animals as well, which we don't focus any attention, any money, any time. So I think this gap is really, really important. But also, it is related with environmental degradation that was talked before, but it is one of the biggest cause of climate change. It is one of the biggest polluters in the world. It is the biggest driver of deforestation because it uses more than 77% of all agricultural land. It is one of the leading causes of erosion, soil degradation, and dead zones, animal agriculture. So, if we care about this planet, definitely we need to care about the animal agriculture as well. Even right now, we stop all the fossil fuels, we cannot stop climate change because we have animal agriculture. And also linked with other social justice issues. That means that it violates human rights as well. So we don't talk about human rights right now because they're all interlinked. One cannot go without the other one. Animal agriculture also violates human rights. Workers in the agriculture sector are going to terrible conditions. In slaughterhouses, in tanneries, in fishing industry. It's like slavery industry. It poses threats to public health and food justice. It causes land grabs, exploitation of migrants, gender inequality, indigenous rights as well. And seeing all of them, our starting point in the movement was, first we realized there's so much funding gap, but also we need much more evidence. So we need to know where to focus. That's we thought our background in economics and economics could be really beneficial for the advocacy. And some regions are very neglected. Right now, globally, most of the resources are going to global northern countries like Europe, countries in Europe, United States, or Australia. So global southern countries are really neglected. That's why we are focusing more on global south. And we need much more intersectionality in our approach. So we need to think about human rights with animal rights together. So that's why what do is we do two things. Capacity building projects. So we help other organizations free of charge with their survey design, with their data analysis, with their impact evaluation. And we also do our own research. So how do we do what do we do? We prioritize global south, we provide all of our projects free of charge, and we do intersection framework. And all of these lead to, we believe, stronger animal advocacy, increased public awareness, and policy transformation, which brings us to our vision of a future with compassion, equality, and justice for all beings. So far we have collaborated around 13 organization advocates. And very briefly, some of our research projects are about understanding the knowledge gap and perceptions about halal animal welfare practices. For example, some people think that because halal animals are treated much better, but we are showing the reality, we are measuring the knowledge gap. We are measuring the attitudes towards farmed animals in the Middle East and North Africa. We are looking again at Muslim attitudes towards farmed animal welfare. We are measuring the confusion for the plant-based products, whether people are confused or not. We are doing some experiments on this. And we have also made some research on technology and data in the movement, in the animal advocacy movement. So how much technology and how much data we are using. So that brings us to the reason we are here. So we all, I want to believe, we all work hard to make this world a better and more just place. And the scale of suffering of animals is unimaginable, but our resources are limited, as I have told before. And our shared goal is which strategies would work, what should be extended, we should persuade the public, we should inform and improve policymakers. So how can we be sure that we are truly making a difference? What works and what doesn't work? And sometimes for this, we are focusing on, for example, we are doing an event and we are looking how many people attended our event, how many people said, I agree with you, or how many leaflets we distributed. We look at anecdotes. These are amazing, but these can give very partial or limited information. That's how our expertise plays a role here for the animal advocacy. So what I mean is that, for example, I will very briefly talk about an example. I don't know if I have time. Okay. I'm not boring you, I hope.
No, definitely.
Okay. So, let's consider an example. Imagine that we are giving a lecture in a class and we are want to increase awareness on plant-based food consumption to the class. And our goal is to understand if it works, our education works, and if it's how effective it is. So what can we do? So, idea number one, imagine that. We can do, before and after. So before our education, we can ask a survey, and after our education, we can ask another survey. So imagine that before that, 8% of people are plant-based, and we do the education. After we see that, still 8% are using plant-based. So does it mean that nothing changed? Does it mean we are not effective at all? No, because there could be other factors playing a role behind. What I mean is that, for example, it could be the case that maybe the price of products have increased. It could be the case. And you can go. So, for example, maybe before the campaign, it was like plant-based product was $3, and after the campaign it was $8. So normally the price goes up and we expect the people to eat less plant-based, but we don't see that because by the before and after we cannot see our effect that easily because there can be other things playing a role. So what about another approach? Maybe we can compare those who get the education versus who didn't get the education. So for example, we give education to one group and we give no education to other groups. And we see that maybe people who didn't get education are consuming more plant-based. So does it mean that we are harmful? So no, there can be other explanations. For example, maybe the people in vegan education are coming from more meat-based culture. And that means we cannot compare these two groups. They're not comparable like apples and bananas. So, to find the true impact of our advocacy, we need to know the counterfactual. That fancy term means that what would have happened for the same students if they didn't participate for the workshop? So, ideally, what we should do is we should clone people. So, by that, we will give education to one group, no education to another group, they will be super comparable. But cloning can be pretty hard, not ethical, not very expensive, so we should do something else, right? So we need to find a valid group that we can compare. So that group means that it will be so similar to the group we are comparing, except they don't get the education. So, researchers came with a brilliant idea. It's called randomization. They do it in medical studies, but now we also use in economics and econometrics. The idea is like this. We have a large amount of people, and then we randomly assign people to different groups. So for example, I roll a dice. If it's even, you go to this group. If it's odd, you go to this group. But it's completely random. So if the group is large enough, statistically they will be very similar. So everything will be similar except the education. So only with this I can understand my true effect. So we are doing these kinds of work in our study, but sometimes it's not possible, so we do alternative strategies. This is just an example to show what we do and why it is important. So impact evaluation is really important for evidence-based decision making, but there are different methods as well. I won't go into detail, they're really technical. And they're not always feasible. It depends on your cost, technical expertise, ethical concerns, etc. And you need to be very careful. So if you do bad evaluation, it can lead to big mistakes. So it can cut funding for effective programs, it can waste your resources. And you need to acknowledge your limitations. It's important for persuasion, credibility, accountability, and transparency. That means that if you cannot claim causality, never claim. Never say that our campaign caused this, if you're not sure about it. So just say that it's associated with this. We see this. But causing this means that you do a very rigorous evaluation. So maybe you can take a photo of this. If you need any support in research, or if you want to look at research libraries, these libraries are free and they're amazing. Like, for example, phonetics, if you go there, if you Google Pakistan, for example, you can see the research summaries in a very simple format of many projects. So it puts all the research out there in one database and simplifies for the public. Animal data project, plant-based data are other ones. If you need support, if you want to ask someone's opinion, you can contact these organizations, including ours. They're all free of charge, and you can get some help, again, like for your efforts. If you want to know how many animals are there, if you want to know what you should do, etc., so you can contact these organizations. For example, expertise for animals is good for if you're a vet. Animal as a service is good if you want to know what kind of campaign you want to do. We help with your impact evaluation, etc. So there are amazing organizations out there. So, and if you want to look at some numbers and statistics, definitely you can Google resources.joinhive.org. you can see all the links with the data. So there's data. So maybe I know as well. You can see that number of animals killed in Pakistan. It is like around in 2 years 2,288,016,963. This is the number of animals killed. These are, each one of them are individuals with their own personality. They're not numbers, obviously. But we need to know to have a comparison. And I want to end with a poem. I don't know if you know this. It is written 1,000 years ago by a blind Syrian poet in Middle East. I did ChatGPT and I tried to translate into Urdu, so it might not be the best translation, but there's English as well. So the poem is this. You are diseased in understanding and religion. Come to me that you may hear something of sound truth. Do not unjustly eat fish the water has given up. And do not desire as the food the flesh of slaughtered animals, or the white milk of mothers who intend this huge road for their young, not noble ladies. And do not breed the unsuspecting birds by taking eggs, for injustice is the worst of crimes. And spare the honey which the bees get industrially from the flowers of fragrant plants, for they did not restore that it might belong to others. Nor did they gather for its bounty and gifts. I wash my hands of all of this, and wish that I pursued my way before my hair went gray. So, thank you very much.